Hello friends. Today I am going to ask you a question that is grammar necessary to be a fluent speaker? I know many people say no, it is not necessary. But if you ask this question to me, then my answer would be yes. It is necessary to learn grammar to be a fluent speaker. People say you can learn English in the same way you have learned Hindi or your mother tongue. But it is not that much easy, because we don't belong to an English speaking country or we are not surrounded by fluent speakers. But if you get this type of environment where people all time they speak English for 24 hours, then it is okay. But I am talking about those people who don't get this type of environment. For those people, grammar is very much necessary. It is very much essential. Whether you want to be a survival speaker or you just master in it, whatever you do, grammar is necessary in both the cases. Survival speaker means if you want to share your ideas, your thought with someone. And master means if you want to be perfect in listening, reading, writing, speaking, all. So whatever you want to do, you should learn grammar. Then why it is necessary? Let me explain this thing to you with an example. Suppose one day you need to cook food because your mother is not at home. But you don't have basic ideas about cooking. Suppose you don't know how to chop vegetables and how to light the stove. Then will you get the courage, will you get the confidence to go and cook food? You can't get the courage, right? Even though you have the recipe, you can't cook food, right? So in the same way, knowledge is required in each and everywhere. So if you have the knowledge, knowledge gives us the power. Knowledge gives us the confidence. If we have the knowledge about grammar, then we get the confidence to speak with anyone. Then the next thing, I'm not saying that you should learn everything in detail or you should learn everything in depth. You don't need to learn all these things for the perspective of exam. You should have basic knowledge about all these things. So the next question must be arising in your mind that what should we learn in grammar? Okay, I am going to tell you. The first thing that you should learn in grammar is tense. Because tense is the important part of grammar. Suppose you want to say someone that मैं school जाता हूँ. I go to school. But in place of I go to school, you said I am going to school. So that person may misunderstand you, right? That person may think like that you are going to school right now. So to express yourself in a correct way, in a right way, you should learn English. You should learn tense. And the next thing that you should learn is modal verb. You should learn about modal verb to give permission to someone or to request to someone to show your ability, your possibility. For all these things, you should learn modal verbs. The other thing that you should learn is your preposition. Preposition means your in, on, over, above, for, from, like this. You should learn about all these things. And then you should learn about conditional sentences. Suppose you want to tell about any imaginary or hypothetical situation. So that time you need to take the help of conditional sentences. Suppose you want to say that अगर मैं वहाँ गया होता तो मैं बहुत enjoy करता. If I had gone there, I would have enjoyed a lot. So for this, to express this thing, you need to take the help of conditional sentences. It is very much easy. You can learn it. And the next thing is your active and passive voice. When you read any newspaper or when you listen any good speaker, then you can come across lots of sentences in passive. If you don't have idea about passive voice, then you will not be able to understand them. So you should learn about passive. And in some cases, we have to focus on the work. We have to focus on the work, not on the doer or the subject. So that situation, to explain all those situations, we should have knowledge about passive. So passive is also important. And the next thing that you should learn is how to ask question and how to give answer of it. Suppose you want to know the answer in yes and no form. That time you have to ask the question with do, did, does, like this. For example, क्या आप ये खाना खाना चाहते हो? Do you want to eat this food? So either the answer will be yes, I want to eat this food, or it will be no, I don't want to eat this food. If the question is in state of being, then you have to ask your question with is, am, are, was, were, like this. So just like, is this book interesting? Or is he a good person? Just like this. I'm not teaching you all these things. I'm just giving you an example to make you understand. So I'm explaining all these things in brief. And if you want to know detail about anything, then you can ask your question with WH word, like what, where, how, whom, which, when, like this. Then you may ask your question like this, that why don't you like to eat this food? I don't like to eat this food because I'm fed up of it or I'm sick of it. So in this way you ask your question and give the answer of it. And yeah, so these are the things that you can learn and you can be a fluent speaker. So these are not an uphill task, you know. It will hardly take 2 to 3 months to learn all these things. So if you give 2 to 3 months to something and you will get courage and confidence in return, then I don't think that you will not be ready for it. So if you agree with me, then start learning. So that's all about today's video, and that's what I wanted to tell you. So see you in our next video. Till then, bye. Take care.